Imagine if we could go back and look at all the Halloween events that have happened in Pokemon Go. Well, that's possible, and that's what we're going to do today. So roll the intro because we're going to break down the rarest Pokemon ever created in the history of Pokemon Halloween. Let's go, let's do this. It's funny since I don't have an editor now, so when I say roll the intro editor, I'm talking to myself. Anyway, the intro played, right, Chris? Chris, let's go. Hey guys, look, I found a site called Pokemon Go Fandom, and they have all the Halloween events recorded here. So I decided to take a look together with you guys so we can analyze and see the rarest Pokemon that Halloween has ever produced and make a tier list, kind of a tier list here with you, so we can mainly check out what's available and what's good in the current Halloween event. The news isn't great about that, but let's see what you can pursue and what to expect for future Halloweens. Guys, I set aside a few tabs here, and we have to start with the 2016 Halloween. The 2016 Halloween, guys, when it comes to Pokemon, you'll see there wasn't really anything different. That's because the game was just starting out, right? So, there wasn't really a need to release anything. This was the first Halloween event, right? They filled the map with ghost Pokemon featuring the most iconic ones. These were the Pokemon we had in the 2016 Halloween, not much else to say. In 2017, we had the introduction of Pokemon dressed up for Halloween. They released Pikachu with a witch hat, Raichu and Pichu as well. These Pokemon used to be rarer in the past, but since they came back last year, their rarity has decreased a lot. But the point is, I think they didn't come back this year, right? At least I haven't seen any of them. Maybe they're in eggs, I don't know. They are somewhat rare since they're only available during Halloween, but I don't think they're as rare as the Pokemon with the birthday hat, which I believe is even less rare. But this one is a cool Pokemon. It's a Pokemon people like, but it's not one of the rarest Halloween Pokemon. No, we'll get to the rarest one soon. And here in the 2017 Halloween, the tradition of releasing new Halloween Shinies began. We're also going to see the new Shinies from this Halloween. 2018 was already a bit more robust. And Niantic started to show signs of laziness. Actually, is this 2018? Is it 2018? 2018, that's right. We had Giratina appearing in Pokemon Go. It was the first Halloween with a legendary available for us, one that was Halloween themed. And we saw Niantic's laziness, because they just brought back the Pikachus with witch hats. They didn't want to make new Pokemon, they just decided to bring them back. The witch Pikachu dropped in priority, it became much less rare after coming back a second time. And they also released shiny Drifloons. Interesting, I hadn't noticed that before. The Witch Hat Pikachus in their shiny version. If I'm not mistaken, in 2017 they were just normal. Look at me, talking bad about Niantic. So they released the Witch Hat Pikachu, now with the shiny version available. I think in 2017 there wasn't even a shiny Pikachu, right? So I guess that was one of the reasons. And here in 2018, it gets its shiny version with the witch hat. And then it becomes really rare because you have it with the hat and shiny. Two variations like that aren't something you can get just anywhere. Later, a lot more stuff was added, like the new raids, see? You saw there was a Halloween raid, there were missions, there were Halloween costumes. So a lot of things were added for this event. So it was the most well-structured Halloween event. And then we get to 2019. Guys, in my opinion, 2019 was the best Halloween in history in Pokemon Go. For me, no doubt about it. Probably the guy who planned the whole 2019 Halloween, I would bet that this guy was fired. The event ended and he was instantly fired because he did an excellent job. And that's forbidden in this company. We know that. So look at this, guys. The Halloween event in 2019 had Bulbasaur, Charmander, Squirtle, and Pikachu, all in Halloween costumes. And man, extremely well thought out. First of all, Pikachu in a Mimikyu costume. For those who don't know, Mimikyu is a Pokemon that transforms into others. If I'm not mistaken, it's a ghost and fairy type. And basically, Mimikyu's story is that during an episode of the anime, it saw Ash and Pikachu, and it became extremely jealous of Pikachu. Because from what I understood, Mimikyu was a Pokemon that dreamed of being loved. Because it was a fairy. Fairies, you know, have that whole thing about love, caring for animals, it loves humans and all that. But at the same time, it's a ghost. And people are afraid of ghosts. so it could never feel the appreciation that people have for fairies, because it always saw the horror in people's eyes for being a ghost. So it transforms into Pikachu. But it becomes a creepy version of Pikachu, all with the intention of having the love that Ash gave to Pikachu. So it's a very sad story. And then the guy simply had the idea to make Pikachu transformed into Mimikyu. Man, beautiful. Look at the context of this Pokemon. Look at the context of this, man. Really awesome. Squirrel, he's wearing Yamask's hat. There's no story of Squirrel with Yamask. At least I don't know of any, but it turned out really cool. Him with that little top hat, bow tie, all dressed up, man. Really well made, well thought out. I thought it was awesome. After Squirrel, I have here what I would say is the greatest masterpiece in the history of Pokemon Go. Ladies and gentlemen, you don't understand the complexity of this Charmander here. I don't know if you know, but there's an urban legend, and that's the craziest part. Guys, this is a story that, as far as I know, is not canonical. It's not a story created by the Pokemon Company. If I'm not mistaken, people came up with this theory that basically Cubone would be Charmander, who lost his mother. His mother's life is taken, so to speak. Cubone was with his mother, who is actually Cubone, oh my god, Cubone, he's Charmander. Whose mother, Charizard, had her life taken. Basically, that's it. He becomes an orphan and falls into a deep depression. In fact, they say that Cubone's helmet would be the skull of Charizard, who was his mother. So, to keep his mother close to him, he wears her skeleton as a helmet. So basically, they made Charmander with Cubone's helmet as a costume. Not only reinforcing the theory and the myth of the orphan Charmander story, but creating a Charmander that kind of dresses up as this story, this urban legend. Man, it's extremely well thought out, and dude, it's awesome. I don't even know how to express how deep this Charmander's costume is for this Halloween. And to wrap things up here, guys, we have this one right here. I didn't get it. No, this is Booba Bulbasaur with a hat. So Booba Bulbasaur, man, that's it. We're together. Awesome. You don't need much, really. After what he did with Pikachu and Charmander, this guy deserves congratulations. For me, just because of that, it was one of the best Halloweens we've had. And we also had Darkrai showing up in Pokemon Go, and Yamask 2, and Kofagrigus. These Pokemon were released with their shiny forms available, unlike the first Pikachu, which was only available in its regular form at first and got its shiny later. They came with the shiny released. So man, the shiny. Among these 4 starters, it's something extremely rare. I'll say it again, extremely rare. I'd say that these 4 here would be the 4 rarest Halloween shinies in the history of Pokemon Go. Okay, and in fact, you'll notice in the upcoming events why this is the case. And another cool thing here is that along with them, several other Pokemon also had their shiny versions released. So the event didn't just have them, there were shadows too, several shadows, and these Pokemon also appeared in raids. And let me see if there's anything else I'm forgetting. There were some special outfits, including the Cubone cap. And that's basically it. I think that's something interesting that I think is really worth it. What we should mention is this new tool here, where you can find all these shinies and rare Pokemon I just mentioned in one place. Look, this is the app, guys. This is GS Space. I logged in here with my other phone because my main account is already connected, so it's easier this way. A lot of people already know this app, but we've released some really cool tools. First, now you have an Explore feed and a feed of people you follow. Here, only people you follow will show up. So you can see them here in a specific tab. So you can follow the people who create the coolest content, who make really relevant posts, and then you can have direct access to just those people. Here in Explore, you'll see all the posts currently being shared in the app. And then, one of the new things we also launched was this, well, I don't know if it's going to be here or on this side. But at the top there, you can see Lucario with an aura. This Lucario with an aura, he's right here like this. Since I subscribed, I'll discuss the subscription with you soon. You'll see a different small image, like a trade image. By clicking here, guys, you can create your list of Pokemon you want and the list of Pokemon you have to offer. Look here, guys. I made a huge list here of several different Pokemon, but I just did it to test. Okay? But here, for example, you can go to the Pokemon I want section. I'm going to put it here to replace this Venusaur. And here you have a list of practically all the Pokemon in the game. We're always updating it whenever something new comes out. And check this out. For example, I can come here to Charmander, click on it, and look what's here. Shiny Charmander Cubone. I can select it here, and now it will be added to my list. I'll even remove it. Man, I'm going to remove these Pokemon here that are on my list. Oh my god, just click here on the little X down here, and you can remove them all at once, instead of removing them one by one. I'm going to clear my whole list here, guys. And I'm going to add Shiny Charmander with the Cubone outfit. I'll put Shiny Squirtle with the top hat. And I'll also add Shiny Bulbasaur with the Halloween hat. And Pikachu Mimikyu. I already have him on my account, so I don't need him. And now I'm going to click here, continue, done. I've made my list. Now I can come here and add the Pokemon I have available for trade. I'm removing these since I only added them for testing. Most I don't even have. Sorry, I was just testing the tool. And I'm going to add some legendaries here. I have a lot of duplicate shiny legendaries. So I'm going to put, for example, Rayquaza. I have shiny Rayquaza. So I'm going to add shiny Rayquaza here. I'm also going to add shiny Groudon because I have a lot of shiny Groudon. And for now, I'm just going to leave these two because they're the ones I can remember off the top of my head. I can make my list later, but that's it. Guys, once you've made your list here, you click finish and publish. If you're not a subscriber like me, you'll have to watch a little ad. And guys, I want to thank each of you who watches the ads on the app because that helps us keep the app free. This app has a huge cost. We've worked on it and kept it running for over 6 months. I cover all costs myself and actually lose money, making no profit at all. I go into debt every month that goes by. I take on a new debt because of it, because I have to pay. The developer building it, the servers, everything else. So the ads are there to help. And then after you do that, guys, your list of Pokemon will show up here. Look, Chris, and then you can see the list here, the list of Pokemon I want and the list of Pokemon I have. Besides that, on my profile, there's also a little badge next to my photo. You can go into anyone's profile and basically see which Pokemon they have. Look, here in my list of people I'm following, I can search here. Look, Mariano posted. I can go into Mariano's profile and see his little badge there. His profile doesn't have the Lucario picture because Mariano isn't a subscriber. So it shows the default picture. I can come here and see which Pokemon he's looking for and which Pokemon he has to offer. So you can trade with everyone and go after those super rare Pokemon like, for example, the Halloween ones. If you want to increase your list, not see ads and other things like that, just like I mentioned here, we also have a new tab here, look, which is the marketplace where you can subscribe as a member so you won't see ads anymore. You'll have a smoother experience and won't need to watch anything else since you're already supporting the channel. There's also the Elite Space, which will increase your list to 20 Pokemon so you'll be able to add more Pokemon there that you're interested in and that you have available. In addition to getting some exclusive statuses within the app for things that will come in the future as well. There's also the Eternal Space, a temporary subscription probably available until the end of the year, which will be removed. But it gives you everything unlocked in the app, no ads, exclusive statuses that will be available in the future, some badges, you get the verified badge, and you become a permanent supporter. This isn't really worth it for us who are developing the app, but since it's just starting out, I told you guys that every month I have a huge debt to pay to keep it running. This was an offer, a bonus we made for the beginning of this project, so that whoever can help us keep the project alive. It's really good. I work as a photographer. I do odd jobs. I do everything possible to raise money to keep the project alive. So if you want to help and get rid of ads and get some exclusive bonuses, subscribe to Eternal Space. You'd be giving us incredible support. But well, I've talked too much already. It's just a tip on how you can find the rare Pokemon in the game here at GS Space in your area. Available on Google Play and the Apple Store so you can download it and start using it right away. The biggest Pokemon Go community on the planet with over 20,000 people participating. Now guys, after this, let's see how the next ones went. Halloween 2020, I don't think it was a bad Halloween, especially because of 2 Pokemon, which are these 2 right here, guys. They simply released Gengar transformed dressed as Mega Banette. And at the time, Mega Banette hadn't even been released yet. And they also released Sableye with the Litwick hat. Sableye has always been a Pokemon I've been a big fan of, and when I saw it, I got desperate for it and hunted a lot. This Pokemon was the shiny that gave me the most trouble. But in the end, we have it, and we even have it as a lucky already, man, so they're extremely rare Pokemon. This Gengar Mega Banette, it still hasn't come back to the game. It's extremely rare. And I heard that there are people selling it on eBay. Normal, not even shiny, for just $100, $200, and some even reaching $300 for the shiny one. So my man, don't even get me started. The price is sky high. It's really expensive. Here we have all the Pokemon, and look, in the wild. That was the last time Pikachu Mimikyu showed up, and actually, it was that year that I caught my own Pikachu Mimikyu. That creature was sneaky, slow fish. Many shiny Pokemon became available, and Gengar, it was only available in raids. There was also the release of Spiritomb, which is shiny, and comes back every Halloween. But it's pretty annoying to catch because it only comes from research tasks, and we had Squirtle, Bulbasaur, and Charmander only in 5-kilometer eggs. And you had to be lucky because, look, there were 11 Pokemon in the eggs. You had to be lucky to get one of the 3. And if it did come, you still had to be even luckier for it to be shiny. So they became extremely rare from this point on. Then, they also appeared in level 1 raids. Well, not after, right? In the same event, they were also available in level 1 raids. Along with Mega Banette, actually, it confused me during Halloween, you see, along with Gengar dressed as Mega Banette, and there was Banette too, but it wasn't Mega, no. They also released Mega Gengar, which was really cool. I still think the 2019 one was the richest in terms of Pokemon, but I think the 2020 Halloween was also really cool. In 2021, things started to get a bit weird. The Halloween Pikachu was this right here. Look, Pikachu, little Pikachu, with a purple top hat on its head. But like I said, the guy who was doing a good job got fired. They also released the same thing here with Piplup, with a little pumpkin on its head, and Drifloon, also with a little top hat on its head. These were the Halloween costumes for our warriors. Yeah, it looks like they're Pokemon whose moms don't really care, you know? The mom shows up on Halloween and the kid says, "Mom, I want to go trick-or-treating." "Alright, my son, just put this pumpkin on your head and go." Don't want to buy a costume? That's how it feels. But anyway, so there were these little Pokemon in the 7-kilometer eggs. We had some special Pokemon in the raids. We had what you're seeing here, Mono Man. Compared to 2019 and 2020, it's crazy to see this here. And then we had Giratina and Mega Gengar raids. Basically, that was it. Then, guys, we had 2022. In 2022, we finally had the release of Mega Banette. Yeah, special Pokemon here in 7-kilometer eggs. We had Pokemon coming as rewards from research tasks. Then Pikachu with the little square hat came back, ugly, and we had a lot of Yame and Yamask appearing, right? Here you can already notice that the special Pokemon from the eggs have disappeared. They're not in eggs, not in research tasks, not anywhere. They just disappeared. Guys, they released Vulpix here with the Halloween costume, right? They also released Gengar here with the witch hat, a little more elaborate, and they also released the pumpkins in 300 different sizes with the little hat on their heads. And that was it. It wasn't so bad either, but not even close to being like the others. They also released Mega Banette in raids. And that was basically it. Halloween also had the release here, look, of Phantump. Its shiny wasn't available, but it was a Pokemon I was really looking forward to. So it was Halloween, like, okay, Halloween, cool. There were new shinies here. Look, Mega Banette's shiny. There was also shiny Yamask and shiny Noibat, which was really cool at the time too. So I remember catching them. I remember hunting for them. It was a cool Halloween, man. It was a cool Halloween. But the super rare Pokemon didn't come back, and they also didn't release any new ones that were as cool as them. And then came Halloween 2023, where the highlight of the event was the release of shiny Zorua. That was it. Look, they released shiny Phantump, which was a shiny I was really looking forward to, so it was really cool to hunt for it. But I think this was the perfect opportunity to release a costumed shiny Phantump. It would be way cooler if they did something like that. Some Pokemon in the 7-kilometer eggs were cool, but not Halloween themed. And there was the release of Mega Shiny and Guzzlord. Guys, I don't like it when the main thing in an event is a shiny, like it's just a shiny because that can come back at any time. Guzzlord returned during the GoFest event, along with its shiny form. So people can get the same one from Halloween, so Halloween ends up not being special because what's special about an event is having something that reminds you of that event. If you catch Guzzlord and the Shiny now and show it to your friend, he'll know that this thing came out during Halloween. Now, if you catch Guzzlord and the Shiny and it's wearing a costume like the Kururu Frog, the E.T. of Varginha, or Kurupira, your friend will look at it and say, "Wow, what is this? What the heck is that thing?" If it's Kurupira, he'll go crazy. You can already get the message across without saying anything. But if the event, the hype of the event is just a regular Shiny, it doesn't convey anything. Nothing about Halloween, you know? It doesn't give you that experience. And that's basically it. In the wild, no costumed Pokemon, none at all. Did any of them have good Shinies? There were some good Shinies, but there was no Halloween Shiny. For me, this was just a regular event, guys. Just a regular event. And then we had 2024. 2024, that was the release of Morpeko, which is a pretty interesting Pokemon, but it's just a regular Pokemon. No costume, nothing special. They released the Witch Hat Pikachu again, the Pikachu with the little top hat, and Vulpix, but only in a special quest. And we also had the release of Froakie and Rowlet with the cool little hats. I thought those were cool because they're nice Pokemon, though their outfits were simple. The outfits suited them and looked cool. It seems like they stopped being lazy for a bit and decided to actually work, you know? But then there was the release of Morpeko. It had its own little quest there, right? And here are the new things that were released. We got Greninja and Decidueye, right? With the Halloween outfits and their respective evolutions. They came with the Shiny unlocked. Those were Pokemon I really liked, you know? We had the first Dynamax releases like Gengar, Ghastly, and so on. We also had Shiny Zorua appearing, and I caught 450 but didn't get the Shiny. But anyway, life goes on. We had Hisui and Typhlosion, and Origin Giratina, along with Bombardier and Crocodile. Those were the Pokemon showing up in raids. Cool, cool. At least it gave us some hope. Like, they didn't forget about Halloween. Way better than the 2023 event by far. At least we had some cool little Pokemon there with costumes, the nice Pokemon that makes sense. And now, guys, we're heading into 2025. The 2025 Halloween, to be honest, guys, I haven't really seen the 2025 Halloween yet. Okay, I just glanced at it. So, we had the release of Teddiursa with a little hat and Noibot, man. Okay, Halloween Pokemon, but honestly, man, I didn't like it. Yeah, this Teddiursa here, man, if you look closely at him, it looks like he's not even wearing that hat. It looks like someone took a picture of Teddiursa, a picture of the hat, put it in PicArt, cut out the hat, and put it on top of Teddiursa. This doesn't look like it's on Teddiursa's head. I'm sorry, it just doesn't. It doesn't look like Teddiursa is wearing this hat. He's not wearing this hat. He's using an Instagram filter. He's using a Snapchat filter. That's what it looks like to me. Then there are the evolutions. Look at this, man. Come on, wait a minute, dude. Don't do this, right? And Niantic? This one actually looks like it is. You can see it's at a different angle. This one looks like it's fitted. This one looks like it's fitted. Or Ursaluna ended up looking like that. Then there was this Pokemon, a part called Tapo Tapower. At least this one will cause trouble somewhere, right? And Noivern with a little thing on his ear to protect him from the cold. That's it, that's it. Their Shiny is available, and that's it, man. It's bad. Yeah, let's go, right? Let's see how it goes. It gives me hope that maybe next year they'll get it right. There's Zorua, but in my opinion, Zorua, which was a positive point from last Halloween. He got a little lost, because now there's Hisui and Zorua, whose Shiny isn't available, so your chance to hunt for Shiny Zorua got harder, because you might get Hisui and Zorua. There's nothing special about it since the Shiny isn't available. And you have the little raids here that are available, the little Hisuian Pokemon. There's Shadow Phantom and Shadow EMS, which don't have Shiny available. So there's no reason for you to do the raids. In my opinion, it's not worth it. There's Spiritomb there. With the little mission to defeat 3 raids, there's Pikachu and Piplup. From that Halloween we talked about, which was when the costumes started to get bad. There's the Sushi Gengar here, which is like, it's different, it's kind of funny, but it doesn't really appeal to me, and that's it. No Pikachu, Mimikyu, none of the 3 starters with Halloween costumes either. Man, just no. In my opinion, it's a good thing because I prefer that they stay super rare. Chasing, trading, and hunting for them is more exciting. I see it as positive. I think what we should do is try to bring in new Halloween Pokemon that are just as cool as these, so that new hype can be created around those Pokemon. And eventually, when the first ones come back, there will already be hype building around these new ones. Because, bro, in my opinion, these two here are never going to be hyped. Never. Honestly, this is not going to be hyped. I could be wrong. I might have to eat my words later, but that's it, man. These are the rarest Pokemon in Halloween history. To find them, download GS Space using the link in the description, where you can also make friends. Besides everything I showed, there's also a chat room, raid room, trade room, and gift exchange room. You have your own individual profile. You can follow people, make friends. It's one of the best Pokemon Go communities on the planet, so don't miss out. Join in. I'm sure you'll like it, and remember, it's for ages 13 and up. It's a social network like Instagram, like any other, so you need to be aware of what you'll be consuming. There, we don't have control over what users post, so we always stay vigilant and moderate it. But it's not a place for kids, so ask your parents for permission. That's it, that's right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching up to this point. Kisses to everyone, and have a great Halloween. I'm out.